The secret code that stops ships from sinking you never knew until now. Hiding in plain sight on the hull of every large cargo ship is a strange little symbol, a circle, a line, and a ladder of markings. Most people never notice it. But this tiny code can decide whether a ship sails safely or becomes a death trap. It is not decoration, it is not branding, it is a life or death limit. Because when a ship is loaded too heavily, it sits lower in the water. Its deck gets closer to the waves, its stability weakens. And in rough seas, one mistake can turn steel, cargo, and crew into another ocean tragedy. This is the story of the Plimsoll Line, the secret code that stops ships from sinking, and the man who fought to put it there. Chapter 1. The Coffin Ships. In the 19th century, as global trade was booming, more goods were crossing the oceans than ever before, but behind that growth was a brutal truth. Some ship owners discovered that disaster could be more profitable. Old, weak, and barely seaworthy vessels were packed with cargo far beyond safe limits. Then they were heavily insured. If the ship reached port, the owner earned money from the cargo. If it sank, the insurance payout could still make him rich. The sailors had another name for these vessels, the coffin ships. These were floating death traps. Many crews knew the danger before they even left port, but refusing to sail could mean losing wages, facing punishment, or even prison for breach of contract. The problem was simple: overloading. When a ship carries too much weight, it sinks lower in the water. The distance between the waterline and the main deck is called freeboard. Less freeboard means waves can wash over the deck more easily, flood openings, and reduce stability. The ship also loses reserve buoyancy, its hidden safety margin, the extra ability to stay afloat when the sea turns violent. Once that margin disappears, the ocean decides the rest. For ship owners, overloading could be a financial gamble, but for sailors, it was life or death. Chapter 2. The Sailor's Friend. The man who challenged this system was Samuel Plimsoll. Born in 1824, Plimsoll was a British coal merchant who later became a member of Parliament. He had seen hardship himself, and he understood what it meant when powerful people gambled with the lives of working men. Plimsoll became obsessed with the problem of unsafe ships. He investigated wrecks, he gathered evidence, he spoke to sailors and families, and in 1873 he published a powerful book called Our Seamen, exposing the deadly practice of sending overloaded and unseaworthy ships to sea. The book shocked the public, but it also angered ship owners, including powerful men inside Parliament. Plimsoll's first attempts to force a safe loading mark onto ships were resisted. The shipping lobby fought back, but he refused to stop. His campaign helped create pressure for reform, and in 1876 the Merchant Shipping Act made it compulsory for British ships to carry a load line, a mark showing how deep they could safely sit in the water. At first, the law was imperfect. Ship owners still had too much control over where the mark was placed, but later rules made the system stronger and more standardized. That painted mark became known as the Plimsoll Line, named after the man sailors called their friend. Chapter 3. Decoding the Mark. So how does a small mark stop a giant ship from sinking? The answer is buoyancy. The main Plimsoll mark is a circle with a horizontal line running through it. That line shows the maximum safe loading level under specific conditions. If the water rises above that mark, the ship is overloaded. But next to the circle is the real code, a small ladder of letters and lines. Why? Because water is not the same everywhere. Salt water is denser than fresh water, so a ship floats higher in salt water. Fresh water is less dense, so the same ship sinks lower. Cold water is denser than warm water. Tropical water behaves differently from winter seas, and some routes, like the winter North Atlantic, are far more dangerous than calm summer waters. So the load line system adjusts for the journey. The letter S stands for summer, the basic reference line. T stands for tropical, used for warmer sea regions where the load limit is adjusted for those conditions. W stands for winter. Even though cold water is denser, winter seas are rougher, so ships need more freeboard and a bigger safety margin. WNA means Winter North Atlantic, one of the harshest routes requiring even more caution. F stands for freshwater. A ship loading in fresh water may sit lower at first, then rise when it reaches denser seawater. TF means tropical freshwater, one of the least dense conditions a ship may face. To most people, these marks look like a strange code. To a captain, a surveyor, or a port inspector, they are a warning that can never be ignored. Load beyond this point, and the ship is no longer safe. Chapter 4. From One Man's Fight to Global Law. Samuel Plimsoll's idea did not stay in Britain. The logic was too clear. A simple visible mark could protect sailors, expose dangerous loading, and give authorities a way to stop unsafe ships before they left port. In 1930, nations agreed on an international load line convention. Later, the International Maritime Organization strengthened the system through the 1966 International Convention on Load Lines. Today, load lines are required on most commercial ships engaged in international voyages, depending on size and tonnage, and they are not symbolic. Port state control officers can inspect ships. If a vessel is overloaded or its marks are not respected, it can be detained, refused permission to sail, and its owners can face penalties. What began as one man's crusade became a global maritime safety standard. Chapter 5. Why it still matters. Modern ships are larger, stronger, and more advanced than anything Samuel Plimsoll could have imagined. They have radar, GPS, weather routing, satellite communication, and powerful engines. But the ocean has not changed. A ship still needs stability, it still needs freeboard, it still needs reserve buoyancy, and no technology can save a vessel that has been loaded beyond its safe limit and sent into rough seas. That is why this tiny mark still matters. It turns invisible danger into something anyone can see. It tells the truth about weight, water, and risk. It reminds the shipping industry that cargo is not worth more than human life. The Plimsoll Line is more than paint on steel. It is a line between profit and responsibility, between a safe voyage and a preventable disaster, between sailors being treated as expendable and sailors being protected by law. Every time a large commercial ship leaves port with that mark above the water, it carries the legacy of Samuel Plimsoll, the man who looked at an ocean of loss and drew a line. So the next time you see a massive cargo ship, look closely at its hull. Somewhere on that steel wall is a small circle with a few lines and a hidden message cautioning, "Do not cross this line." If you enjoy such immersive maritime stories, ship secrets, and the colossal engineering marvels that keeps the world moving, like, share, and subscribe to Blue Water Arc for more such stories and insights from beyond the horizon.